Hello and welcome to the Star Citizen News for the week ending the 26th of February 2023. We have updates on the Star Citizen Alpha 3.18, a summary of Cloud Imperium shows and news from the week, along with a new couple of sneak peeks as well. So, from the newsletter, Alpha 3.18 PTU open to all backers, as if we didn't know. Alpha 3.18 is open to all backers in the Persistent Test Universe, PTU. Join us now to start a career in salvage, experience persistent entity streaming pairs, pilot new ships, and much more. Also, the Bar Citizen World Tour is back. Last year's tour was a huge success, and we can't wait to see you all again. Let us know where we should visit on Spectrum. So this is basically Cloud Imperium going, what Bar Citizens are around? Where should we send our devs to participate in those Bar Citizens? So, with Alpha 3.18 though, we don't have a release date for the live build yet. Cloud Imperium are trying to plow through its bugs and blockers currently. Between now and mid-March is a good guesstimate of when that live build will be though. There were a few new Star Citizen Alpha 3.18.0 PTU patches over the last week, with the last being the one ending in 401. They're just numbered now. There's no letters anymore. So that latest PTU patch helped deal with some more of those bugs that needed fixing. In fact, almost all of the patches this week were bug-fixing patches. The latest one, though, fixed after docking or spawning at a docking pad, airlock doors wouldn't open, the RSA Constellation did not appear on ASOC terminals, insurance problems, purchased ships were not recognised after making an insurance claim, vehicles were displaying incorrectly on the Vehicle Manager app, the Consolidated Outland Nomad didn't have swappable missiles. If you forced respawned after being in a ship that had went into its soft destruction state, you would get homicide charges, oddly. They also fixed 2 client and 1 server crash. So there are still a load of bugs that Cloud Imperium need to fix with the patch. There are a load of blockers there. However, some of the other patches helped deal with a lot of the 30Ks and server instability, as well as some transit issues, so that those have seen vast improvements than we had in the earlier PTU builds. There's still problems there. Cloud Imperium are trying to solve that. Once they have solved that, it will go to the live build. Inside Star Citizen last week, so this had previews of some of the massive changes planning to come with Alpha 3.19 and mining gameplay there. So all mining lasers, items, subcomponents, consumables, they're all changing stats-wise. They're trying to make them more focused at certain areas, so certain sort of minables. It's going to be much better to mine with certain loadouts than others. So they're making the mole more viable as well. So they want multi-crew mining and group mining to be a big thing. So the mole, for example, can sync its lasers together when mining the same rock, and that will lower the instability of the rock, making it significantly easier to mine and quicker as well. There are a load of economic changes for sort of the materials, where to sell them, all that sort of jazz. Certain materials like copper will mostly spawn around Microtech now. Aluminium is going to be around Crusader. Obviously that sort of stuff might change, but the idea is that there are some standard resources which spawn much more likely in certain areas, so you'll be trying to, get copper from Microtech and sell it at Crusader for a profit. Asteroid fields, they're going to have a good mix of materials. Rare resources are going to be typically tied to the common and standard materials found in the area, so you might find more diamonds near iron. Also, iron's been added to the game as a mineable for ships at the moment. There is a new valuable FPS mineable in caves, Genolite. They've also improved the UI for mining. You'll have an indicator as well if your loadout is viable for being able to mine and actually extract from a particular rock. Different loadouts are going to be more suitable for different materials. And there are sort of more variances in the types of rock and a greater skill ceiling for mining as well now. So some rocks, they're going to be very hard to crack. Some are going to need a group of players. Some are going to be very unstable. Rock's composition of materials directly affects its sort of stats and its hardness and all that sort of jazz. Cloud Imperium did also talk about, well, one of the reasons that we want to get mining into an even better place than it is because we want these resources to be used as part of the dynamic economy, but also crafting, and crafting well beyond what they have in 3.18 with the sort of salvage dispensaries being able to do some limited crafting. Very excited for crafting in Star Citizen. So Star Citizen Live this week had Will Hain, the river guy. He builds massive environmental things in the universe, sort of like rivers, but he made planets and terrain much more malleable, sort of taking it from a pre-baked in process to you actually being able to edit the planets and sort of place in rivers and oceans and lakes and all that sort of jazz. The river tech itself has been added to planet generation now and allows for more unique points of interest. Alpha 3.18 has an example of this with the new cliffs that appear around the sides of rivers. After they are done with the current water tech and environmental needs of that, they're going to be moving on to evolving planet tools with getting the procedural nature of the generation of planets much more detailed and interesting, but also they'll be able to plug in things like, well, this is the distance the planet is from the sun, and this is some other materials and stuff found in this star system. Bam, generate a planet based on that, and it will work out the environment, humidity, temperature, continent distribution, all based on that. What's the age of the star system, and all that sort of jazz. Now, that's awesome because that means they can have very, very, very highly detailed, procedurally generated things, which they can, obviously, they really want a procedurally assisted approach where artists will then come in and check stuff and add some higher quality assets to the area and sort of do a little bit of handcrafting where necessary. You want lava flows and rivers, you want volcanoes and things. They do want to have lava in the future if possible. The rest of the show was talking about QA and what work is like in Cloud Imperium for QA and some of the trials and tribulations they've had to do. So one of the things they have to do and they can have issues with is reproducing bugs consistently. So someone reports a bug or lots of people report a bug. They need to reproduce that so that they can double check that that is accurate and also give a full report to the appropriate person to fix it. And if they can't replicate that bug, well, they're less likely to be able to fix it. They talked a little bit about gameplay demos, some of the stuff they've shown off at CitizenCon and Gamescom before. Apparently, there's been instructions when they were doing those demos, like, don't go left. And they go, okay, yeah, we don't go left because we haven't tested that area of the planet yet for this demo. But then Chris Roberts Live will go, have a look at that thing over to the left. That looks cool, right? And they go, oh no, oh God, Chris. There's also been sort of invisible objects which they are aware of that they have to avoid. So it's quite interesting. QA is a good starting point for a lot of people to getting into the games industry as well. Now, we are going to be getting a white box tour of those new underground facilities that were first previewed at CitizenCon last year in the week coming. Apparently, these underground facilities have had a huge amount of work done to them on their white boxes, and yeah, it should be quite a meaty viewing in the weeks inside Star Citizen for that. We did have a roadmap update during the week. It added the Scorpius Antares to the 3.18 release plans. Actually, talking about the Antares, we did get a little sneak peek of it again this week, which I'll chuck up on the screen. I'm liking the look of it. I'm interested to see what it's going to be like once it's in our hands. It will be flyable with 3.18 when it goes live, and it will obviously be on sale at the same time. So the roadmap, though, it started to also flesh out what the downstream teams are doing over the next quarter. So that's on the tracker roadmap. We did see a few new features added and returned to that tracker. Salvage contracts, they're going to be part of 3.19 probably. That's buying a location and rights to it to sort of salvage a ship. There are Duster faction outfits for the Outlaw Gang in Stanton. Master modes. So this is a huge overhaul of new modes to vehicles to manage their speed, components, role-specific functions. It's connected to loads of other features, including the resource management system, the quantum sort of travel nav mode, and the SCM combat modes that Cloud Imperium have got planned. Very exciting as well. Persistent Habs are back on the roadmap tracker, so looking forward to seeing more on them in the coming weeks. This week's sneak peek in the roadmap appears to be of Ruin Station in Pyro. It appears to be part of one of the pylons. They're making a load of progress with this. I'm looking forward to seeing it in-game. A little bit on a side note, Cloud Imperium recently have been talking about decoupling the replication layer, sort of server meshing from Pyro and jump points, so it's possible that we could see a Alpha 4.0 with Pyro and some form of server meshing light, or the sort of steps towards server meshing but without server meshing by the end of the year, maybe, because if they don't need to finish all this super complex stuff off, maybe they can get Pyro in sooner. We'll have to sort of wait and see. That might just be being optimistic rather than a confirmation of anything, though. I will have more on that once I know more. Boom! That's it for your Star Citizen news this week. Are you excited for 4.0 and Pyro? When do you think we'll see it? Do you think with that sort of potential of them pushing the more important parts of server meshing back to a later patch in 4.0 or 4.x, that we might see Pyro sooner? Are you excited to see work on persistent habs and persistent hangers? What about salvage contracts for 3.19? Does the Scorpius Antares excite you? What about planets that are massive and procedure generated? Do you think the verse can actually be a lot bigger than we were expecting, or be done a lot quicker now that they're getting those tools finished, or at least into a more developed state? Are you excited for Alpha 3.18? When do you think it will actually be in our hands? What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Time for some shilling. The Tobii Eye Tracker 5 is on sale again until the 6th of March. This gives you native high-precision head and eye tracking in Star Citizen. Very cool for general immersion, for combat both in ship or on foot. They are absolutely fantastic pieces of kit, and both Zin and I have one. Use the links below to grab one for 15% off or to find out more.
That's the last Chevron locked in, Mr. Daniel Jackson, who is legally distinct from any doctors of the same name. We've done it. We've connected to another world. Daniel Jackson, we're being hacked through the gates to the stars, which is also legally distinct from any other gates that travel to the stars. We should have got NordVPN, Daniel Jackson. We would have been able to browse the internet safely, accessed our favourite content on Netflix, and we would have been able to have privacy. We would have had less of these Egyptian-looking snake people attacking us too.
You should check out nordvpn.com/BoredGamer and get yourself a great deal on NordVPN. Just click the link in the comments section below. Every month we have a ship giveaway. For February, it's for a Crusader Spirit C1, the very cool looking multi-crew, multi-role competitor to the Cutlass Black and Freelancer. As it's a concept ship, you'll get a Cutlass Black until it's made flyable. You'll get lifetime insurance with the ship and a game package for Star Citizen 2, so all you need to play. Just comment on any of my videos made during the month to be in for a chance of winning that. If you would like to further support the channel, then consider becoming a Patreon or using that join button under my YouTube videos to become a channel member. It goes a massive way to helping us make videos every day, and you'll get some exclusive content from me and Zinnia from time to time too. Become a BoredGamer today!